Coming up on the Hawkeye Sports Report, what a Sunday it was for both the men's and women's basketball teams as they continue their push towards March. Now they look to build on those wins heading into matchups with Nebraska this week. And the wrestling team is preparing to head back north to Minneapolis for the national duels this weekend. Hear their reaction as they prepare for the 8-team tournament. And a former Hawkeye etched his name in the U.S. track record books over the weekend. Find out who coming up in this week's Hawkeye Sports Report. Hello everyone, and thanks again for joining us for another edition of the Hawkeye Sports Report. With postseason hopes slowly beginning to slip through the fingers of the women's basketball team, they were in desperate need of a win Sunday at number 18 ranked Purdue. The Iowa team we saw play so well earlier in the season showed up on Sunday. It was a Sam Logic and Thierra Taylor show as the duo combined for 41 points, 20 rebounds, and 7 assists. Morgan Johnson chipped in 12 points and 5 blocks, and Melissa Dixon also added 10 points in the 20-point win in West Lafayette. The win improves Iowa's record to 17-10 on the season and also moves them to 7-1 against top 25 teams.
I think this definitely gives us the confidence going into the next couple of games that we can do this and we can get even more wins. So I think this win definitely helps a lot.
Well, knowing that when we play well, we can, compete with anyone, we can beat anyone. On any given day, it's a Big Ten, and that's how it is. We just got to bring 40 minutes of basketball to every game.
I think it's a good start for us to push out the rest of the season. We have a tough game at Nebraska, but I think we can win out.
The team has a bye this Thursday. Their next game will take place on Sunday at Nebraska. On the men's side of things, they also have room for little error down the stretch. In desperate need of a quality win, they finally got one Sunday against Minnesota in dominating fashion after finding themselves down 21-5 with just under 13 minutes left in the first half. The light finally went on for Fran McCaffrey's team. Iowa goes on a 67-30 run from that point on to win by 21 points, 72-51. Iowa had 5 guys that scored in double figures. Aaron White and Devin Marble led all scorers with 15 apiece. Up next for the men's team, a road game at a much improved Nebraska squad. Let's now check out this week's Players of the Week.
Our first athlete of the week is Devin Marble. In Thursday's 2-point win at Penn State, Marble scored 22 of Iowa's points. Sunday against Minnesota, Marble led the way again with 15 points. Our second athlete of the week led the Iowa women's basketball team to an upset win at Purdue Sunday. The Hawkeye women had not won in West Lafayette in more than 15 years, but sophomore guard Sam Logic scored a career-high 26 points Sunday and added 9 rebounds in Iowa's big win. Finally, second-ranked 133-pounder Tony Ramos was also named Big Ten Wrestler of the Week for his 9-0 major decision over third-ranked A.J. Schopp of Edinburgh Saturday. Ramos is 20-0 this season. The Hawkeye Sports Report Players of the Week.
On the wrestling side of things, the Hawkeyes moved to 19-1 on the season Saturday night as they defeated Edinburgh 31-6 on senior night. Now is when things get real interesting, as over the course of the next month, the team will take part in the national duels, the Big Ten championships, and then the national championships. A big stretch for Tom Brand's squad, and it all starts this weekend in Minneapolis.
It's the next thing on the event. It's technically probably could classify it as a postseason. We got to be ready. It's important. We're going to competition. I think all the dialogue and whether you're going to have, the national duels replace the national tournament, all that I think is way past or maybe way in the future. I think now this is an event that we got to get ready for. We got Cornell first on Friday, and if we do our job, then we'll be in it on Saturday, and that's what we want to do.
It's important to us because just like the Big Ten trophy or dual title, it's a trophy that's made and we want it in our room. We don't want anyone else to have it, but also it means that the individuals are doing the right things, because for the team to win, the individuals got to win. So it's kind of reinforces that each guy's doing what they need to do for their part of the team.
I mean, we've all wrestled those Cornell guys. I mean, we see them at nationals and all that. I mean, wrestling a team, they're going to have a different style than what you face out here. I mean, when you go toward the East Coast, you find the top-bottom sort of wrestler, so that's really the only difference.
Probably feel pretty good about their team. I think they've probably ironed some things out. I think they had some young guys in there earlier that maybe took their lumps a little bit, and now they seem to have them run in the right direction. And the coaching staff is passionate about wrestling. Coach Cole and Damian Hahn and those guys, I think they're after the same turf that top programs in the country are after. I mean, when I say I think, I'm not speaking for them, but I think that they're probably wired that way.
And in case you missed it, how about former Hawkeye track standout Eric Sawinski? The Iowa record holder in the indoor 600 and 800 and the outdoor 800 didn't find out until just 3 days before the 106th annual Millrose Games that he would be participating, and boy did he ever make the most of it. Sawinski ends up winning the indoor 600 meters in record-setting fashion. He crosses the line in a time of 1:15.61 seconds, which is an American record. A big congratulations going out to Sawinski. He'll definitely be a name to keep an eye out for as the next Summer Olympics approaches in just a few years.
The last lap of this thing, your eyes were as big as plates as you came up the home straight away.
You know, I didn't think I was going to have the opportunity to run in the meet. I found out Wednesday night that I was going to be in, and it's the opportunity of a lifetime, you know, getting to race against Nick and Dwayne, two of the best 800-meter runners in history, so it's great opportunity, and I'm glad I ran fast.
Could you have ever imagined an American record here tonight?
You know, I ran 1:15.9 a couple weeks ago, taking it out solo, and felt pretty good, but I knew if I had somebody in front of me to follow that first 500 meters that I'd be able to close a little harder than I did there, so I knew I had a shot at it.
And the Iowa baseball team got their season underway over the weekend out east in Tennessee as they took on Austin Peay in a 3-game series. Iowa won the middle game of the series 13-1 as they pounded out 15 hits in that game, which included 3 apiece from Jake Mangler, Dan Shepard, and Chris Goodman. In the final game, Iowa's bats fell asleep, but sophomore Nick Day had an at-bat that he'll remember for a long time. And that leads us to this week's Plays of the Week.
Our first play of the week starts and ends with Eric May. May forces a bad pass in Sunday's game against Minnesota. Melson Basabi saves it from going out of bounds, and May puts the exclamation point on the play with the two-handed jam and the foul. Also Sunday from Clarksville, Tennessee, third-inning action between Austin Peay and Iowa. That's when sophomore third baseman Nick Day connects deep to left field for his first career home run, a solo shot. The Hawkeye Sports Report Plays of the Week.
The road to the NCAA Women's Final Four begins in Iowa City, and you can be a part of the action, cheering for every dazzling dish.
Nice no-look underneath.
And watching the big shots fall.
Nothing but net.
Experience it live at the first and second rounds of the 2013 NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship.
When you're hot, you're hot.
March 24th and 26th at Carver Hawkeye Arena in Iowa City, Iowa. Adult all-session tickets start at $25. Visit ncaa.com/tickets to make a date with champions.
Finally, let's take a look at what's ahead over the next 7 days in Hawkeye athletics. The women's swimming and diving Big Ten championships will be underway throughout the week and weekend up in Minneapolis. They will conclude that on Saturday. Then the men's Big Ten championships will then get underway on Wednesday, the 27th in Bloomington, Indiana. On Friday, the softball team will kick off a 5-game weekend with 2 games against Winthrop at 1:30 and Alabama at 6. Those games will all be played in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Also on Friday, baseball will kick off their weekend down in Corpus Christi, Texas against Oklahoma at 2. They will also be in action on Saturday against New Mexico and Sunday against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Women's tennis and women's gymnastics will also be in action Friday right here in Iowa City. The tennis team will take on Oklahoma at 3 p.m. Gymnastics will take on Minnesota at 7 p.m. in Carver Hawkeye Arena. Also getting underway Friday will be the Big Ten Indoor Track Championships in Geneva, Ohio, as well as with the Wrestling National Duels up in Minneapolis. Both those events will run through Saturday. And the men's basketball team's game was pushed back to Saturday. They'll take on Nebraska at 1 p.m. Iowa will look to extend their win streak to 4 games. Also on Saturday, women's tennis will be in action again here in Iowa City at the Hawkeye Tennis and Recreation Complex at 1 p.m. against Marquette. Men's gymnastics will also compete Saturday in the evening at 5 p.m. in Carver Hawkeye Arena against Nebraska. On Sunday, men's tennis will host Western Michigan in an 11 a.m. contest. Women's golf will also be in action as they will kick off the Westbrook Spring Invitational down in Phoenix, Arizona. That will run through Monday. And finally, the women's basketball team will look to improve upon their big road win at Purdue with the road contest at Nebraska. That game tips off at 2 p.m. and can be seen on the Big Ten Network. From everyone here at the Hawkeye Sports Report, thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.